welcome everybody. My name is Berve. I am the Goddess Illuminated and I am reading for the New Earth Collective. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to do a twin flame update today. So, if you have been following me for a while, then we are probably on the similar phases of our twin flame journey. So if you followed along with my twin flame readings in December and for the new year, you will likely remember that I thought that it would be really beneficial for both myself and the collective to take a break from watching twin flame readings. So it's funny that we are doing a twin flame update. So for me, what has really happened in my twin flame journey, very close to union, working through that last bit of karma. And working through that last bit of karma is about being able to let go and give it to the universe. So that is why I've really pulled back from watching twin flame readings, and I kind of suggest that anybody else that's sort of on a similar place in their journey to me, we also pull back from watching twin flame readings, because when we watch those readings, we are potentially putting the focus on our partner, right? Rather than putting the focus on ourselves. So that becomes a bit of a challenge right before union, right? When it comes down to splitting hairs, we really need to be focusing on ourselves and our aspect of the twin flame journey. So that is where I'm going to be focusing right now, because that's just where I'm at, and I assume that if that's where I'm at, that's where you're at, and that we should be really focusing in and narrowing in on balancing our masculine and feminine, and working with the knowledge that our twin flame union, we've got the devil here on the bottom, and that the devil is all about that level of control, and control can be very, very hard for certain people to give up. I find that some of the artsier air signs and water signs find it easier to give up control. I happen to be fire and earth, and I really, really struggle with control. I have a really strong logic center in my brain, and it's like A leads to B, B leads to C. And so I would like to know that if I do A, I get B. If I do B, I get C. So I find that giving up control and really relinquishing to the universe, not, oh yeah, give it to the universe, but really, we're still grasping for straws. So that's what we're focusing on today. So if that is where you are at in your twin flame journey, then you are very welcome here. We will be talking about our twin flame journey with respect to ourselves. So I don't know whether or not I'm going to be pulling messages. We're just going to see how things go. I don't know whether I will be pulling messages from our twin flame, because right now we shouldn't be focused on that. In fact, I did a cord cutting. I'm trying to remember what day it was. I think maybe it was, I'm in Australia, so we're the 22nd now. It was probably about 8 days ago. I went and did a cord cutting because I needed some of the telepathy to stop. He was driving me crazy with his yes, no, I was just like, yeah, driving me absolutely bonkers. And obviously it causes the same thing for us, right? So if our twin flame is experiencing this like level of uncertainty, back and forthness, and we're picking up on that energy, then it's going to cause us to have those same feelings. Somebody has to hold it down in this bloody relationship to bring it together. One of us has to be able to toe a positive line and know, stay in that feeling, that knowingness of the union. And so might as well be me, right? Might as well be you. Somebody's got to be willing to take the first step, because, ideally it happens together, right? But it seems like, it's just like we're like we're like magnets, like getting closer, but and so just pulling back, I actually reached out to my partner and I said that I suspected I was going to need until March to ascertain where I'm at, and I just needed a bit of space. And I needed a bit of space. We've got some messages here. We've got the Four of Pentacles and Justice. I needed that space because I can now pinpoint and identify the places where I need to focus on self. And so in order to direct all of my attention to the areas that I need to focus on self, I actually need to give up, in a way, give up on the twin flame journey. It's not really like giving up on the twin flame journey. It's like that actual surrender. And I don't know if I talked about it in the last twin flame video, but with regards to that surrender, so part of the challenge for me was, and like, gotta love being honest in public, in a public forum, but I like, why else am I here, right? Okay, so for me, I realized that part of my inability to give up that control was due to a fear of actually not wanting my partner once I had secured everything in myself. And that is kind of a pretty sick place to be, right? You're like, oh, I love you, I want you, I love you, I want you, runner, chaser, runner, chaser. And then all of a sudden you're like, I got everything I need now. I'm all good. And that comes from an unhealed aspect of ourselves, right? It's like, once I heal, I don't want somebody broken. And so, but by saying that, you're also saying that you want, like, the desire for the trauma bond is that level of control. And I do believe that I'm going to desire and want my twin flame once I am. For me, it is actually about, if you've been following the channel, you know that I work regionally, remotely, and I'm like all over the place. Australia is a very big place, and I live in one of the largest states, and I travel from one end of the state to the other. I'm constantly going. When I say remote, we're talking about some of the remotest places on earth. In way in bush, like right in the middle of the tip of the kite. So yep, we're recording. All right, it just doesn't look like we're recording. What's going on here? Hello? Oh, okay. I don't want that on while I'm recording. All right, just making sure. Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so that was the struggle for me. It was like, I'm like, shit, once I'm healed, if my partner still has these traumas, and for him it's like an avoidant attachment, then I am no longer going to desire that partner. And hooray! Like, that's actually good. You don't want to be in a trauma bond. You want to be with somebody who's at your spiritual level, who's as healed as you are. So that's actually a good thing. But at first, it's a little scary because you're like, well, I've wanted this thing for so long. And for me, like, because I'm always, I don't have a super strong sense of, I can ground in the moment. I ground mainly by being in nature and by doing yoga. But stability, when I say groundedness, I'm just mean more like I don't have a stable place, right? Like I'm constantly on the move for work, and I don't, things are always sort of up in the air. I don't own my own home. Um, and so I like, there is like some level of instability around me. And what I liked about my partner was that he brought some level of stability, because he's a little bit, in terms of like those more physical aspects. I mean, he's an earth sign, so he's much more grounded in that way, and definitely balanced me out in that regard, um, when we were living together. And that was one of the things that I really loved about that relationship, and still do. But I know that I need to be able to develop that in myself, with or without, I don't know whether I need to, what it is exactly that I need to do to get that. Well, I have an idea, but I mean, it's the way that I'm going to achieve the stability isn't the way that I'm going to achieve it through the relationship, but I still have to be able to feel that need that I was getting from my partner from within myself first and foremost, and be confident in my ability to maintain that for the rest of my life. And then I can open myself up in a healed space, because I don't have those root chakra worries about whether or not that's a possibility for me. So we have the Four of Pentacles here, and we have the Justice card. The Justice card can be about balancing the scales. It is about looking at what the good things that we've done and the bad things that we've done, and obviously trying to learn from our mistakes. Justice is weighing the good and the bad. With the Four of Pentacles, she's clutching that person, holding it to her chest. So this being a Pentacles card, it tells me that we are very much, as a collective right now, holding on to this judgment. You see in this card, on the top is sort of like the light aspect, and the reverse is sort of the shadow aspect. Right now we're very much holding on, but not just holding on, because that would be kind of an emotional or a thought thing. Right now, our stability, our Four of Pentacles, is based on this continuous weighing of pros and cons, weighing of do I, don't I, weighing of, for me, if they act like this in the future, then I'm going to that. And the continual thought of ourself, balancing ourself with respect to our partner, and that is what we need to move on from, right? We can come into a beautiful union if they are our twin flame. Then the areas where we are dominant, they are deficient, and the areas where we are dominant, they are deficient. It's like our chakras are coming together, and the female aspects of the feminine and masculine aspects of my chakras are balancing the feminine and masculine aspects of their chakras in a way that makes us feel together like we're more aligned. But we still need to work on balancing our own masculine and feminine, and we need to work on balancing our own chakras. And as we do that, our partner may balance their aspects or not. And we cannot force them to come into balance. But do we really want to remain unhealed? What we know about the twin flame journey, and what I'm obviously going to share with you guys, so all of my relationships have been past life relationships since 2011. So for quite a while. Previous to that, I'm not sure. I don't actually, like, I had one serious relationship before that, long-term serious relationship, and I don't know whether we have a past life connection or not. But after, I've had a couple of different awakenings in my life, but I had a substantial awakening around that 2011 mark. And that was a real healing awakening where I was opened up to my Akashic records. And since that point in time, all of my relationships have been past life relationships and clearing up karma in those relationships. So the thing is that if we're on our way to ascension, we have to trust in the path. I will be in a twin flame relationship. I mean, I've got one of my exes is my best friend, and we healed our past life past life traumas, past life karmas, and we've just settled into a really beautiful soulmate friendship. The feelings that we have towards each other are so much stronger than just your average friendship. It's more like a brother and sister relationship, which is actually probably more so what we are to each other in the 5D. But yeah. And if my current twin flame relationship turns into just a really beautiful soulmate friendship at the end of this journey, then that is not a miss for me, right? That's a beautiful thing. Sure, like the passion and the intimacy will be missed, but at the same time, that isn't the end all be all. It is really important, and it is really important for me in an intimate relationship that the intimacy be spiritual. So, and I think most people on the twin flame journey, sorry, I'm pre-recording this, and I've got to, like, every 5 minutes that my computer screen wants to shut off. It's just easier for me to see what's going on. All right, so let's pull an archetype here for our twin flame journey. So I'm going to put these cards back. So we know that right now what we're holding on to is that balancing. It's judging the good and the bad. It's judging the good and the bad in us. It's judging the good and the bad in our partner. And that judging, that justice aspect is, and like holding on to justice, holding on to wanting justice for any wrongs that have been committed against us is counterintuitive to the twin flame journey, right? Because the twin flame journey is about embracing and owning our everything in the universe is made for us, and our twin flame journey is no different. The hurts that we experienced as part of that journey were for us and for our growth. And when we give up this clinging of the need to balance the scales, then we can come to that place of zero again. And that's where both the masculine and the feminine need to be at in order to come into union, because otherwise you have a runner chaser dynamic. All right. So let's start. We're going to pull an archetype card, and we're really just looking like, let's say this is like 10 days, 14 days max. 10, 11 days is what I'm feeling in terms of the time aspect for this reading. So over the next 10, 11 days, what we need to know and need to be focusing on in our twin flame journey. So we have the nectar and the storm. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's get a word from the guidebook. The nectar. 181. Ooh. Look at that. 181. The nectar. It says the medicine, the elixir, the garden. When in light, glowing, relaxed, and subtle illumination. When in dark, fixation on fixing, right? And that's where I think a lot of us have been in our twin flame journey. At least, you know, the feminine side. My feminine side has been, yeah. So my feminine side has probably been focused on fixing, and my masculine side has probably been caught up in judging. So this is really pertinent here. Aggressive approach to healing. And like that definitely resonates for where I've been in the last 4 days. We have sense the nectar within you dripping from the crown of the head and soothing the brain. Let it drip down the spine like sweet honey. So those of you that are aware of some of the Vedic or Indian understandings of Kundalini, I think probably understand that you have you know, like there's an ascension, a descension, and an ascension. So the energy moves through us as we ascend. And what the nectar is asking us to focus on is on the pulling and allowing the grace of the universe to envelop our crown chakra and to pour over us. So rather than working from the root up towards the star chakra, to focus on allowing in and focus on that movement downwards through the chakras. Oh, and then we go right. I didn't even read it. And then in Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amritam. Amritam drips from. It's like, well, I can't actually just go into, like, in our throat, back of the throat, sort of back midway between, like near the pituitary, along the line of the pituitary, center of the brain, back up, back of the throat. The yogis actually used to cut the bottom of their tongue so that they could stick their tongue up the back of their throat to stimulate the production and allow the amritam to drip down. Now that is something that you can do. So I'll explain the practice to you if you want to do that. So what you do is you sit into your regular meditation pose, you know, whether that be cross-legged or kneeling on a meditation stool, but however you normally have your body. But instead of just relaxing the mouth, you're gonna curl your tongue back and fold it and stick it up. And what you want to start doing is trying to slide your tongue back along the roof of your mouth so that you can eventually get it stretched sort of up into the top of your throat. And in there, there's a curling action of the tongue that can be done, and eventually you will, if you can get it far enough and deep enough back. It does hurt at first to practice. I did spend months meditating like this back when I was in India, especially when I was doing the Shiva meditations with the Shiv mantra. It is, yeah, so you end up getting like sort of like a little bit of pain here in the side of your throat when you first practice it. It's like any muscle that you haven't stretched before. When you start stretching it, it's going to be uncomfortable. So you probably aren't hurting yourself. I would start with maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can work your way up. You know, you can literally sit there for hours and hours and hours like that. Nasal breathing, and you're not going to hurt yourself. It's just going to feel uncomfortable if you haven't done it, and the next day you're going to wake up with a really sore throat. So take it step by step, but that is a nice practice. Another one that I really quite like in terms of experiencing that downward flow. One of the things that I like to do is take an egg of light around the body, put that egg of light wherever it feels natural and comfortable for you. For me, mine is usually sitting sort of like, you know, when I first start, it's like usually about 18 inches or like 40 centimeters above my head, and that's where the egg sort of sits. Now, I picture sort of like light rain, like sparkle rain coming down and washing over that egg, adding more sparkle to it, and building up that energetic force field around myself until it's thicker and glowing, and that egg is just like, you know, this thick with light and sparkles and protection. And then we have the second card that we have is the Storm. I think the Storm is the Storm a tool? Really interesting if it is. Maybe it's a place. It is a place. The Storm. 157. All right. So the place that we're at is the Storm, and the tool is the Nectar. 157. The chaos, the whirlwind, the disorder. The storm lays bare the truth that there are forces larger than you. This understanding is a relief, but also a predicament of power that requires your surrender. And that's really what I said, where we are at in the twin flame journey. Processing an energy much like the Tarot's Tower card, the storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer. No matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom, we can't hide from its savage winds. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. So this is really what we want to be overcoming right now. And so we're in the midst of the storm, and we're going through, like I said, you know, for me it was that really uncomfortable truth that if I make the final steps of the twin flame journey and through surrender, and he doesn't, that, well, I'm just not going to be interested anymore, and somebody else is going to appear. And so there is some level of surrender and also being comfortable with that. I mean, I'm here for ascension. I am here to clean out my karma and to progress along this path. So if the way for me to do that is to not experience a twin flame union with this particular person, then that's going to be okay, because it means that I still have more karma to clear out with other people. What can we do? What can we do? If this is my, you know, my forever, and I am meant to be in union, then surrendering and letting go will not change that destiny, and divine timing will bring it in. And the thing is that we can't actually know until we get to that place of surrender, right? So we can, you know, what do we have here? The Judgment, Four of Pentacles, and the Judgment. We can think to ourselves as much as we want, okay, if I surrender, if I get there and I finally make that last leap of the surrendering, if I surrender and they don't make that last leap, then I'm not going to want them anymore. That was a really, really hard truth to handle. It was really difficult for me to come through, right? Because in some ways there is some level of attachment, right? And I still feel that attachment towards my partner, but I have my boundaries, I have my standards, and I do have certain things that I need him to heal. And obviously he has things that he's needed me to heal. And so, you know, we've got to work through that. And we've got to be willing to to look at that and to give up this judgment about what we will do when we get there, because we should be far enough along in our twin flame journey that we know that we have to use our intuition in the moment, and none of this judging of what we will do is relevant, because we aren't in that situation. Therefore, we aren't able to get the downloads that we need, and we have to live in the moment. So we're really just wasting time hemming and humming about actually surrendering to the journey. All right, guys. Let's do a Celtic cross. I like doing the beginning aspects of the cross, just the setup. So we'll do that. What too many cards? Spirit, what do the viewers need to know right now while we're in the storm and we're going to use the tool of the nectar? Remember, that is the descending energy from the universe. What is it that we need to know? What is the situation? Spell out the situation. We're using a standard Celtic cross, not the staff, just the setup. So I'm going to cut the deck. Oh my goodness. Judgment. Reconciliation. So the judgment card is our reconciliation card. This is the heralding of the trumpets. This is what we want. So this really tells me that we are talking about union, we're talking about reconciliation, and we are very close. Now, what is the challenge here for our twin flames? What is the challenge? Independence. So the Nine of Pentacles card is about abundance. It's about really having, the Nine of Pentacles is having nearly everything that you want and need, but not quite the 10 yet. You need one more pentacle to get to the 10. This is everything that you can have and have mastered for yourself, by yourself. So this is the crossing energy. So let's dig a little bit deeper and find out what it is that we want to try to get a deeper understanding of how it is that we are lacking this independence, right? Because the crossing card is helping or hindering. So we know that we have to reach towards our own independence. We know that we have to perfect with the growing of the grapes. She is skilled, and the ability to train a falcon. This lady is well skilled, and she's comfortable, and she's not trying really hard, right? She's got the skills mastered. She's a lady of leisure. She is working with the universe in a way that things just come naturally towards her, because she's attained that level of She understands the law of attraction and things come easily to her, but it's because she's mastered that skill. Let's grab a clarifier. I'm going to actually pull. Well, let's see what Spirit wants. Okay, so with regards to this independence, we have the Lovers in reverse and Strength in reverse. So, Lovers is about making a choice. Lovers is a card of choice. Of course, it is about love. Strength is about. I'm gonna flip these cards around for you, and then we'll talk about them in regards to being in reverse. All right, so we have got Lovers and Strength. Strength card is about being able to tame the inner beast. And in the traditional Rider way, the lady is wrestling the lion, which means that she is very skilled at taming that inner beast within herself. And the inner beast would be all of our wounding and our triggers. So with both of these cards in reverse, it's saying that we have not yet completely healed our triggers. So we're not yet quite at the end of our twin flame journey because we still have more healing to do. And I think that we can come into union with our partner. It is possible to it's just level turtles all the way down, right? Turtles all the way down. So we're never perfectly healed, and we're always going through experiences until the day we take our last breath that impact us in some way. So it is possible that we can come into union with our partner and to continue that healing process. And that is what twin flame union is about. It's about having that level of trust to experience this journey of healing and enlightenment with our partner. And it's much easier for us to do the core aspects of that healing on our own. And so that's really what I'm getting from these cards together, that for you or for your partner, right now, one of the crossing factor in coming into union with the Judgment card here is just whether or not there is enough of this taming of the beast and this that we're able to choose love, and we're able to choose to come into a partnership to continue that healing together. Now let's take a look here at what is below us. So for those new to the Celtic Cross, or just new to my style of reading, the next position is about the ground. So it's really about that earth element. And we have the Knight of Wands in earth here. So the current ground of this situation is of passion, is of this night fire. Now, this is potentially one of the most passionate cards in the deck, but as a person, this night can be like this, it can be your best one night stand ever, but he's not necessarily going to stick around. I get, like, if the Page of Wands is like the flash of inspiration. This is like the burning of the fire, but it's not an eternal fire, right? It isn't a queen who's deriving her fire from the sun, or a king who's deriving his fire from his internal focus. This is like burning up the tinder right around us. It can mean fighting, it can mean conflict. So let's get a clarifier here to better understand how the Knight of Wands is turning up for us in our twin flame journey with respect to what's beneath us. So the current ground that we're walking on. We have got the Mother of Swords and the Seven of Cups. All right, so the Mother of Swords is about our ability to see clearly. Normally in the traditional Rider Waite, she's sort of sitting above the clouds, which means that she can see out. She's got clarity of thought. Swords are our thoughts. The Seven of Cups is about confusion and options. Here we see that the Mother of Swords is kind of looking away from what's in those cups. So the Seven of Cups is about options, but it's also about confusion. So on the one hand, these say that, with this passionate energy, that for some of us, and this isn't the primary message, but I'm getting it out of the way because it's potentially one of the more obvious ones, is about turning away from other romantic options, or being able to, if these are all of our other romantic options, being able to stay focused forward like this owl is on what it is that we want. So not getting distracted by other options. Most people have it's not like we only have the opportunity to have romantic love with one person in our life, right? And even after we get married or are in a long-term committed relationship, we're still gonna meet other people where there is some chemistry and attraction. But it's about, I was about to say especially for the men, and then I'm like, come on, that was so judgy. That is just relevant to my twin flame journey, because I experimented a lot sexually in my 20s, and then I got really bored with it. Like, I don't like one night stands. I don't have one night stands. And when I choose a partner, I choose them, and my sight, my loving eyes are only for them, and I'm really good with actually controlling the solar plexus heart chakra, this solar plexus heart chakra, where I don't have this inclination to look at other options, right? I don't, when I'm in a solid and committed relationship with somebody I love, I can meet a really hot model, or I'm sort of a sapiosexual, so like I can meet another really intelligent person, and I don't have to develop romantic feelings for them because I have another romantic partner. But that is about that ability to control that fire. So I said that was the most obvious reading for this. And the other reading is, so the Seven of Cups is about choice, but it's also about confusion. And Mother of Swords or the Queen of Swords is about cutting through the confusion. And, you know, for her to sit perched up on this sword here, she has to be very balanced and in thought, right? Swords are about thoughts. She has to be balanced in thought. Now, she has her back. She's not looking towards this confusion. And I think that that is the message here about the passion. So right now, we've got this fiery energy as our ground, as what we're standing on right now with our twin flame. Now, for some of us, that is about flames of passion and not knowing where we want to put them. For others of us, it's about the confusion that we are facing in our twin flame connection, and the fact that we are being asked to settle in our thoughts and to turn away from the confusion that we have with the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups would be like a lot of confusion, right? A lot of just like a constant bombardment, everything confusing us, right? Everything that we are ingesting spiritually. Fire, wands are fire, and fire is transformation. So it says that right now, everything that's transforming is causing us confusion, and we're being asked to, in that state, to come to some ability to remain balanced with the Mother of Swords here. All right, in the past, our next position. Twin flame journey in the past. This one, cheese. I normally don't do this, but I'm doing it. Okay, so this was the one that really wanted to come out. In the past, the Fool. So this tells me that in the past, you and your twin flame have wanted to embark on this new journey together. But we have the Knight of Wands and the Star in reverse. So it tells me that there was an inability to focus on the healing work that needed to be done in order to have this new beginning. So in the current, what is the highest that we can achieve this is a 10-11 day reading. So in the next 10-11 days, what is the highest state that we are able to achieve? Okay, we have the Six of Cups in reverse. This is about exposing the roots. So, like this, the reason we sometimes play around with different decks is because we get to focus on different interpretations of the cards. The Six of Cups is about giving and taking, right? This version of the Six of Cups is about as above, so below. And when it is in reverse, what it is asking us to do is if what is above is what we can see and what we want to grow, and we we haven't manifested that union yet. What we need to do is to look at the roots of our relationship. So let's dive in a little bit deeper and get some clarifiers here on the root of the relationship. I'm going back to Rider Waite. And I'm feeling a requirement to maybe get some of these in reverse. So what is it that we need to examine? It's actually about pulling, like this is about pulling the weed out from the root. And that this is the highest that we can achieve right now. So we've got the Two of Wands in reverse. The Two of Wands is about looking out into the future. So in the upright, he's got his one foot firmly planted on the ground. He's comfortable with where he's at. And so he's got his one pole sort of set up here. And then he's got his other pole fixed to the future, and he's looking at this globe and looking out over this village or his empire here. I don't think he's an emperor, so maybe he's just I don't know, a court or something, but he's looking out over the empire, and he's looking at what is next. What are we going to be able to conquer next? In reverse, what this is saying to me is that we can't be looking to the future right now. In the next 10, 11 days, we need to uproot ourselves in our twin flame relationship. We need to pull ourselves out at the root, to examine those roots, so that when we go back to plant ourselves in the ground, that we understand what is under the surface, and because what's under the surface is what's going to grow on top. I'm gonna grab some more clarification for this Two of Wands in reverse, please. We have got the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Hermit. So the Nine of Wands is about being guarded, right? He is the wounded warrior. He does have these wands around him, and he is able, he's got this defense around him, yet he's still sort of looking out, very suspicious, and suspicious isn't even the right word. He's still on the offensive, right? He's still kind of holding that wand, like he might have to pick it up and use it, and he's disgruntled. He's disgruntled about the fight that he's just been through. I think disgruntled is a good word here. So the two of these together tell me that our challenge right now in being able to lift up the root is that we are being too defensive to go into a state of hermit. And, maybe that's because we are holding on to this justice, right? When we've been wronged by our partner, or perceived wrong. When we perceive wrong with our partner, then we want some level of justice or retribution. And we can't. All right, I said I was gonna start bigging up other readers. I don't have my phone with me. So there's a reader called Tennille Talks, and on YouTube, um, and I haven't listened to her reading for today, but it starts off something like, we can't be in a state of like love and hate at the same time. That's not exactly what she says, so I will try to link it down below, that reading, but it's essentially she's saying that we can't be in this state of love and compassion and defensive-ness and probably animosity at the same time. Like I said, I have not listened to the reading yet, but I just clicked on the title and got the gist of it. I do that with I subscribe to a lot of different readers, and sometimes I just like just browsing the titles, because I'm trying to pull away from, inevitably when you listen to twin flame readings, you're going, I'm trying to listen to them for the collective, but it's going to inevitably resonate and ping in my brain with my twin flame. And so I am trying to pull away from like going in depth with those readings. But I think that there might be something in there for this collective. So do go check out Tennille Talks, because she is talking about we can't be in that state of love and hate, or wanting justice, wanting for our perceived wrongs by our partner, and be able to move forward. And the way that all linked up in my brain for me is about this rooting. So what Tennille is saying is that you can't have your roots that want to nourish the tree and not want to nourish the tree at the same time. So we need to pull up and take a look at our animosity. And I want to say a few more things about the Hermit card. I feel like there's more to come out here, so I am actually going, because what is it that we need to achieve in this Hermit space? I mean, I know that we have to do it. Like I said to my partner that I reckon I probably need it until March. And it's like, I just need to be able to put down I don't want to have to think about union, no union. Like right now, I'm just a single person on my own healing journey. And whether that leads to union or not is not even something that I want to question until March. I don't know, March 13th seemed like a date that a download. But we're going to go to the In-Between Tarot here and get some cards. What is it that we need to be looking for? Like, the Hermit. What is the Hermit aspect of our twin flame journey right now? Do we need any more cards, Spirit? Are we clarifying with any more cards? I'm going to take this one. All right. So we have the Four of Cups in reverse. Now this is the In-Between Tarot, so it is the in-between between the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups. So this is exactly what I was saying, right? Like, so Spirit is just clarifying exactly what I said about, like I had suggested you guys go listen to Tennille about this. Like, you see the Four of Cups is about apathy. The Five of Cups is about disappointment. And these people are holding their back to each other. They each have one jug upright. They each have one jug poured out. And the divine is offering them another jug up here, and neither of them are taking it. So they're crying over spilt milk. They still have something to work with. The Lord is offering them a gift from heaven, and yet they still have their backs turned to each other. The next card that we have is the Wheel to Justice. The wheel is our karma, and justice is about balance. The wheel is how our destiny and our fate changes, and justice is about how we weigh up the good and the bad. We should not be weighing up the good and the bad. Weighing up the good and the bad is that type of justice is a job for the divine. It's a job for spirit. As humans and incomplete, unenlightened beings, we don't have the moral authority to judge other people. Now, I'm saying that, and it is a double-edged sword, because of course we have to judge for our situation. But judging for our situation is different than judging our partner. Judging where my boundary on something is different to making a judgment about that person. Making a judgment about what I want to accept in my life and what I don't, and holding those boundaries is very, very different, right? When we make that sort of judgment about what's good for me, then we easily make decisions about whether to move towards or away from other people. But we're not judging the other person, we're just judging what is good for us or not good for us. So I think that what Spirit is saying here is that we need to take the time, we need to drop the defensiveness, we need to uproot ourselves, we need to take a look at the roots of what we are growing. And if we are holding on to judgment, like we had here, these flew out before I even started the reading. If we're holding on to judgment with our partner, then we've missed the healing, we've missed a bit of the healing journey. So the highest that we can achieve, what is above us, the highest that we can achieve is loosening ourselves from the wheel of karma by understanding that we should not be judging our partner. And to move beyond apathy here, we need to see the jug that's full and the infinite jug of the divine that's right above our heads, and be willing to accept that water, to accept that outpouring of emotion from spirit, so that we have the strength and the willpower to turn towards our partner. Now, in the future, what can we expect in the future? All right, so this one flipped up upright. It is the Two of Swords in reverse. And this one came face down. So this is an element of that message that Spirit wants. It's part of the way that I'm going to read this message, but it's the hidden aspect. So the Two of Swords is about a decision, right? So we're talking about what is in our future. The Two of Swords is about a decision, and the decision that we have to make, we're unable to make, right? We can go left, we can go right. She doesn't know whether she wants to go left or right. She finds serenity here in choosing to not make a choice about left or right. And if she sits here in peace and serenity long enough, and I'm taking this, this is something that I've been listening to Minnow Pond, Chris Reck, for ages. He always says there's this island in the background that she can get to this island, but she maybe doesn't need to make a choice about going left or right. There's a new path for her to get to that island. But she doesn't see that path yet. Now, the hidden aspect of this message is the Page of Swords in reverse. So the Page of Swords is about learning. It's about gathering information. In reverse, it is what came to me, like what the download was, that it was dirty information. tainted information. So what's hidden is tainted information. She's unable to make a choice. So this is the future. This is this is the next 10, 11 days. She's unable to make a choice about her twin flame journey. She's unable to make a choice to find the third path, the middle ground, because of this hidden, tainted information. I want to get some direction for our collective on how to manage this, situation, this hidden. We have got justice, and it came out in reverse. Remember how at the beginning of the reading I was talking about with regards to the confusion and the passion, and it's about this bitch right here. Managing our interests and in relationships, like, it's the right way for me to say this. When we're in alignment in a twin flame union where things are balanced and working out, we are in control. You can see the aspect right here in this card that she is balancing is exactly the aspect that I was saying that we need to balance to move beyond this confusion and to understand what it means to make a choice in love and to honor what it means to be loving. So the future, this is a big warning for us all. With this page, this dirty hidden information, the future looks like we're going to struggle This is why we need to take the time to uproot things and go into hermit mode right now, because there's hidden information here, tainted hidden information, which is not allowing us to find the third path. And this Justice card came out in reverse. So it means that we have not yet managed to balance this bit in the next 10 or 11 days. So I am going to do another reading tomorrow. I'm going to keep these cards out for our viewers, and we are going to come back tomorrow and work through this bit for the future. All right? Because we want this. So this is the Golden Age, Unveiling the Golden Age deck. This card is the one that covers the box, right? This is the essence, the ethereal essence of this deck. This lady is able, she's got her angel wings, right? She is an ascended master, and she is able to ground what it is that she wants, because she is able to manage the energy flow through the chakras, and in particular this energy center here between the solar plexus and the heart chakra. It's coming from a place of love and grounding that, and using the love and the understanding of Mother Earth. And what I mean by that is that Mother Earth is like, some aspects of nature are brutal and gruesome. Things grow, things are birthed, things age, they die, they wither, they rot. In the animal kingdom, insects are controlled by pheromones. One of my first jobs was rearing insects at a bug lab for research, and it was one of the most feral experiences to experience as a young teenager. You put these moths, and the male moths will root the female moths. They'll be dead and their body half decaying, and because of the pheromones, these male moths will continue to sit there and root the dead body to try to procreate with it because of the pheromones that are coming off. Like, nature is disgusting and cruel, and there's a really good Nirvana song. I will post it, the Nirvana song. Somebody tell me what it is. It's about understanding the brutality, or coming to terms with the earthly aspects of what exists and how things move and transform, like the fire element of the 3D, and being comfortable and okay with that. So for men and for women, jealousy comes from us not wanting our partner to have an attraction to another person, but interacting with other people is part of our journey, and attraction is going to exist at some point, and it's really about how we manage and control those aspects. So how our spirit intersects with that the beauty and disgustingness of how things operate in the 3D and rectifying that spirit and third dimension, like rectifying our feelings towards that. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. I am going to continue this reading tomorrow because obviously this is not, this is, like I said, it was a 10-11 day reading, but in terms of the outcome or the future, the near future, this potentially is not really what we want to see. Doesn't really lead us to the union that we're looking for here with the Judgment card. So we have more work to do. So tomorrow we're going to start with this aspect here, and we're going to work up the staff of the Celtic cross. And because when we take a look at the Celtic cross, we want to take a look at the near future and then the outcome. So this is just the near future. This is not necessarily the outcome. It wasn't looking good, guys. Not looking good over the next 10-11 days in terms of our twin flame union. But it gives us a direction and where we need to work and where we need to focus. So this is what tarot is for. If we are just clicking on twin flame videos that give us the answer that we want, the thing that we want to hear, then we aren't doing the work. We aren't uprooting. We aren't coming into the independence that we need on our own. We aren't becoming our own 9 so that we can merge with one other and become the 10. We aren't making the choice because we don't have the strength in love. We're still operating from that weakness. We're still operating from a place of triggers and unhealed wounds. So we will dive more into that tomorrow, because it seems like the next sort of 10-11 days are going to be very important for us to do a lot of this internal work right here with the Hermit. But we need to not be guarded and defensive about our need to do this work. So I'm gonna sit and we're gonna work through this. This is a healing journey, guys. I'm here with you. I'm here for you. You're here hopefully with me and for me as well. Let's work together in resonance and peace and beauty and help bring ourselves into union, and with union within ourselves first, because when we achieve union within ourselves and we have balanced our masculine and feminine, we actually don't need a relationship. We can choose to have one. And that is the only real way that we can have a 5-dimensional connection. Otherwise, we're really just having a karmic connection. So if we want to get beyond that and come into a twin flame union where we are in harmony and it is healing and the energy is constantly moving us deeper into our spiritual practice and enlightenment of self and others, and of understanding the whole pantheon, understanding all that Jung has said about human nature. That's what we're here for, to understand the nature of consciousness and the nature of reality and to rectify those. I'm so glad you were here and you joined me on this journey. I look forward to reading for you guys tomorrow. Thanks, guys.